So guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Paige Bueckers and whether or not UConn ruined Paige. Because, look, we gotta just talk in facts right now. At the time that Paige Bueckers went to UConn and Caitlin Clark went to Iowa, as they were both in their freshman year, before the start of their freshman year, the better of the two players was Paige Bueckers in high school. Does that mean anything? No. Before people go crazy, Katie Lou Samuelson was a better high school player than Fee Collier. She was drafted higher than Fee Collier. Like, it makes no difference who the number one recruit in high school is. Heck, like Lenny Cook was a better high school player at one stage than LeBron James. It really doesn't matter. But we got to talk about it like it's factually correct, because it is. I think as a freshman, they were very similar. Like, Caitlin Clark was putting up better numbers. Paige was on a better team, more efficient, and they came up against each other in the tournament. Paige on the better team won, but they would be very close. But what we've seen the last few years out of Paige Bueckers is a player who's, I don't feel like her game translates at all to the next level. And you can maybe say, oh yeah, well, look, she's playing with these players, she'll fit in perfectly. This is Paige Bueckers. She's got a Nike shoe called Buckets. If she just wants to be slightly better JC Sheldon, then stop calling her Paige Buckets. Stop calling her Buckets. Because let's be real. The Paige Buckets, that player existed in high school. That player existed as a freshman. Paige, I think, existed last year. What we're seeing this year is just Bueckers. It's a player that vaguely resembles the National Player of the Year as a freshman. It's a player that vaguely resembles the most hyped high school recruit of all time. And the reason is she chose to go to UConn. Hindsight being 2020, if you asked her this, obviously, look, AZ Fudd was one of her best friends, has gone to UConn as well. She liked it, all the connections she's made through UConn. For basketball reasons, it is the worst decision that she has made. As seen by, if you want to look at the WNBA right now for guards, let's look at all the best guards. Since Diana Taurasi, when was the last time UConn produced a good 1-2? I'm not considering Maya Moore a point guard, shooting guard. The best point guard they've probably produced since Sue Bird, I don't know. Like, the best UConn point guard still in the WNBA, it might be Mariah Jefferson. Like, they don't produce good point guards. They don't produce good combo guards. And Paige Bueckers is expected to be a point guard at the WNBA level. I don't even know what position she plays. She can do a job anywhere. But I'm sorry, like, this is Bueckers. This is the Swiss Army knife Bueckers that does a bit of everything and cuts well. This is not Paige Buckets. But you can see this here where it's like Geno Auriemma has emphasized efficiency in her game and called her for passing too much or taking shots she shouldn't. Okay, so yeah, she's just overthinking everything. So, when you pass too much, it's a problem. But when you shoot shouldn't, yeah, that's a problem too. And that has made Paige Bueckers develop a fear of missing. And we saw it in the USC game, by the way. Paige hit a couple of shots, and when she started talking to Juju, I was like, okay, I like this. Paige is coming back. And then she hit the pull-up midi from the elbow. I'm like, yeah, Paige is back. And then with about 4 minutes to go, they're down 2. And Paige Bueckers pulls up for a fast break 3. And I'm like, there's enough time left that this play is not going to change the game in a negative way. You still have the team momentum, but if you hit this shot, you're winning this game. And everybody knows those type of momentum swing shots. Like, crazy shots. Just dagger shots, heartbreaking shots. And she shot one. I was so happy to see Paige shoot one. She missed. And as soon as she missed that shot, it was like, oh, I'm sorry. It was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she just became Bueckers again. She almost became Paige Buckets again. But she became Bueckers. She is scared of shooting a bad shot. And there has never been a player in the history of basketball scared of taking a bad shot that has ever been a 1 or a 2 on a championship team. Ever in basketball. You can't. You can't. She has no killer mentality. And the thing is that she had it. To say Paige Bueckers had no killer mentality when she came in as a freshman is wrong. Like, look, I watched Paige's freshman year at UConn. I heard of Caitlin Clark. I watched little bits of Caitlin Clark. Look, if you had asked me who was better at the time, like, I watched a lot of Paige Bueckers games. Everyone knew who Paige was. Mainly because the media did push Paige, but you know what? She deserved the push. Albeit they should have probably pushed Caitlin Clark equally as much, but at the end of the day, like, if somebody's that exciting, they're eventually going to be pushed. Just like everyone pushing Juju for the last year, and now you're seeing more and more of a push for Hannah Hidalgo this year, because that's just what's going to happen. But I do think Paige deserved that push. I think Paige was more exciting than what Juju currently is right now. But she's just become Bueckers. And I think this is a cautionary tale. Don't ever go, and you're seeing it with Malaysia Fulwiley in South Carolina. And by the way, like, look, Malaysia Fulwiley might win 3 college rings, but I can guarantee you she would be a better WNBA player had she gone to a Notre Dame. And it's just what's important to you. What is important to you? For you to be developed, for you to be allowed, like, hone your game, to use your flair to your advantage, to do what you do well, and to excel as a guard, as an individual, and hopefully win. Or to sacrifice everything you do well, win as a member of a team in a system that can win in college basketball because you just have all the best players and you're just bigger than everybody else, and you sacrifice everything that makes you you, and you leave college as a shell of a player. Because that is what's happening to Paige Bueckers. And look, Paige Bueckers is still going to be really good in the WNBA. That is the talent level of Paige Bueckers. But she is a shell of the player she could have been. If Paige Bueckers, let's just say Caitlin Clark gets recruited by UConn. Paige Bueckers doesn't. Geno chooses Caitlin over Paige. Paige goes to whatever her local college is. Let's just say hypothetically, you know what? Let's just say maybe, because Minnesota and Iowa aren't too far from each other, let's just say she had a relationship with Lisa Bluder. She wanted to be closer to home. She went to Iowa. We would be talking about Paige Bueckers. We would not be talking about Caitlin Clark right now. Caitlin Clark, I'm telling you this right now. Caitlin Clark would have been backing up in 2023 when Caitlin Clark led everything, had her whole breakout. If she was in UConn, she would have been backing up Lou Lopez Seneschal. You just know that would happen. She would have been backing up her because, you know what, she wouldn't have been allowed to play the 1 because she doesn't play the 1 like Geno Auriemma wants, and she'd be playing the 3, which she's not particularly good at, and everything would just be catch and shoot wide open. Geno Auriemma, and I don't mind certain players, like I don't mind Sarah Strong going there because of the way Geno's system is. Sarah Strong actually can just play like Sarah Strong can. She's like female Jokic. And by the way, like I am, like, for the 2028 WNBA draft, I'm like, you don't understand how high I am on Sarah Strong. Like, I think she could be, I don't think she's going to be the biggest name of all these players, but I think there's a potential that by 2030, she could be a top 3 player in the WNBA. That's how good Sarah Strong is. But you're seeing all this stuff right here where it's like, passes too much. She also takes unnecessary shots. Like, it is just overthinking. Constant contradictory message. Apparently, a source isn't exactly reliable, but the source being not exactly reliable, Geno Auriemma has literally come out and said, you know, Paige just stands around there and watches. She's not trying to take over games. And then when Paige take over games, like, well, you know what, she can't just be doing it all herself. She's got to pass it more, and teammates got to do more. And it's like, Geno, you have destroyed the most talented guard you have ever had. And yes, she is more talented than Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi just has the Caitlin Clark mentality. She is more talented than Sue Bird. She's, if you count Maya Moore as a guard, maybe not. But like, you have not produced very many good guards, and you landed Paige Bueckers, and you decided to not let Paige be Paige after her freshman year. And who knows? Maybe Paige is actively trying to play like this. And if that's the case, then you've done a horrible job of player development. And in fairness, you kind of, like, he's done a horrible job of player development for the last God knows how long. Like, let's be real. Since Stewie, what players have UConn produced? They've produced Nafisa Collier, who, I'm not going to lie, nobody thought she was going to be this good. She was drafted below Katie Lou Samuelson. So no, she did not become the player she was at UConn. Gabby Williams never made an all-star team. Katie Lou, like, she's literally still in the league because she was good when she was in high school and she went to UConn. Lou Lopez Seneschal, barely in the league. Dorka Juhas, okay. Leah Edwards is going to be fine. Nika Mule may never play in the league again. There's definitely some other players for years, like Azare Stevens. Like, I don't know. Like, it's ridiculous, but I'll stand by this point. UConn destroyed Paige Bueckers. And the worst part about this is that we're seeing when guards can thrive, like Hannah Hidalgo, like Olivia Miles, in systems that suit guards. And then we're seeing these flair guards, these really good guards going to schools like UConn, going to schools like SC, where it's like, yeah, you might go and win championships. You might be going there just because, you know what, these are the top schools. But it's not a good fit. Like, kids need to make decisions based on their game. Like Malaysia Fulwiley, I saw her listed as the 45th best guard in women's college basketball. I'm not joking. You put Malaysia Fulwiley on Notre Dame. If you replace Malaysia Fulwiley, Olivia Miles with Malaysia Fulwiley, move Hannah Hidalgo back to the 1, that is the most dynamic backcourt in college basketball. If, let's just say hypothetically, Fulwiley transfers, and this would be like, if you're a fan of South Carolina, obviously you don't want to see this. But if you are just a neutral fan of basketball, and even from an entertainment perspective, you will admit that a Hannah Hidalgo, Malaysia Fulwiley backcourt would be the most dynamic backcourt in college basketball history. And it would make Notre Dame must watch, the two of them together. If you put her on a TCU, when Van Lit's gone, to be fair, they don't have Sedona Prince anymore. If you put her on UCLA with Lauren Betts, and you just kind of let her go, and gave her a bit of freedom, and then she can dump down to Lauren Betts when needed. It gives them more of a 1-2 punch than with Kiki Rice. Maybe UCLA isn't the greatest thing, but man, if you're a guard coming through, just go to Notre Dame. Please just go to Notre Dame. Like, if you want to look at guards, heck, Notre Dame in the 2019 draft produced more guards than UConn have produced since Stewie. They had Enrique, Jackie Young, and Marina Mabry on the one team. Come on now.